All right, good morning, everybody. Can I have your attention, please? Ahem. Okay, let's get started on the quiz. Listen, I didn't want to take forever grading the quizzes, considering we gave back the test. Basically, what I did was, if you set up number one right, you got half credit, which was 40 out of 80. And then if you screwed up after that, I really didn't bother taking the time to find out where you screwed up, because I figure that after today, when we go over it, you're not going to make the same mistake again. And the other thing is that there was one very common mistake on number two. If you made that mistake, I took off 10 points. So we'll go through this step by step, and I think you're going to understand it very, very well in a couple of minutes. And then we begin some work on word problems and perimeter and so on and so forth. God bless. Okay, so.
Bless you.
God bless. Now, first it says the length, the width, and the height of a rectangular prism can be represented by blah, blah, blah. It says to write a polynomial expression for the volume. Now, expression means no equal sign. Polynomial, something like, say, 4x to the third plus 22x squared minus 99x plus 4. But how do you find volume? How do you figure out the volume of a figure? Length times width times height. So what I'm going to do first is the length times the width, which is going to be 2x plus 7 times x plus 3. And if you wish to use the box method, you can do that. If you wish to double distribute, you can do that. I'm partial to double distribute. In time, you will all double distribute and never use the box method again. But whatever you want to do is fine. So I'm going to double distribute first the 2x, covering up the 7. That gives me 2x squared plus 6x. Now I'm going to cover up the 2x and distribute the 7, which gives me plus 7x plus 21. Remember, these guys will always be combinable, so that gives me 2x squared plus 13x plus 21. Okay? But that's only the length times the width. I didn't do the height yet. So it says in here that the height is x minus 1, so now I have to multiply this by x minus 1. And someone asked about triple distribute before. Yes, you can triple distribute. You don't do all three packages at the same time. What you do is two of them, get a result, and now I can triple distribute. Do just the 2x squared, then just the 13x, then just the 21. So if I do just the 2x squared, I get 2x cubed minus 2x squared. Now I'm going to do just the 13x, which gives me plus 13x squared minus 13x. And now I'm going to do just the 21, and I get plus 21x minus 21. Now these guys will be combinable, and these guys will be combinable. So altogether, I get 2x cubed plus 11x squared plus 8x minus 21. Now, Sammy, this is what you call standard polynomial order. What standard polynomial order means is that you have the highest exponent first, then the next highest, then the next highest, which is really a 1, and then the numerical term at the end. It's important to write it that way for a number of reasons. First off, when you write it that way and you get involved in a situation where you're double or triple distributing, it means the ones next to each other will always be the combinable ones. You don't have to hunt and peck to find them. And the second thing is that your teacher is going to expect it to be written this way. And for argument's sake, if I put the 11x squared in the front, teachers grade things very quickly. They will think it's 11x cubed some of the time. And you'll end up getting a wrong mark on there, not because you didn't know what you were doing throughout the whole problem, but because you didn't express it the way most people would expect to see it, okay? All right, now the next part talks about the difference. And the important thing that I want you to understand about this difference is the word from. Now I want you to think for a minute. If you go from Mr. Bruno's room to Mr. Lindquist's room, where did you start? Mr. Bruno's room. If you go from Mr. Lindquist's room to Mr. Bruno's room, where did you start? Mr. Lindquist. If you go to Los Angeles from Chicago, where do you start? Chicago. In other words, wherever you're going from always goes first. Everybody say it with me. From goes first. That was lame. From goes first.
From goes first.
A little bit of snot in you now. Like, look at me like you. From goes first.
From goes first.
So sad. So sad. I know it's morning. Okay, look what it says here. It says to subtract 3n squared minus 7n plus 2 from n squared plus 2n minus 5. There's that magic word from. This has to go first. n squared plus 2n minus 5.
Oh.
That goes first. So many people put that second because the order in the problem had it going second. Okay? Now, I'm going to distribute the negative sign, because there's really a -1, and when you multiply by -1, it changes all the signs. So I get n squared plus 2n minus 5 minus 3n squared plus 7n minus 2. Now I combine like terms. 1n squared negative 3n squared is negative 2n squared. 2n's and 7n's is 9n's. Negative 5 and negative 2 is negative 7. A lot of people had the exact negative of that as the answer. And that's because you changed the order. Guys, what is 2 minus 5? What's 5 minus 2? Positive 3. So what happens is if you switch the order, you always get the negative of what the answer would be. That's true with integers, and it's also true with polynomials. So the moral to the story on this one is pay attention to the word from. What goes first? From goes first. Okay, any questions? All right, so I think you'll be in great shape when it comes to that particular stuff on tomorrow's quiz. I expect to see lots of hundreds. Classic kind of mistakable questions today. Those are things kids do wrong all the time. Okay, so now, we get to today's Do It. And again, what we're doing here is really not challenging you too much, neither on the quiz nor on the Do It. We're just kind of making sure that fundamentals are covered and we're good with them. Which of the following choices is in the solution set? Who knows the answer? I didn't even do this yet. Go ahead. What one? D. Everybody get D?
Yes.
Okay, good. Next, in the space below, graph each of the following. -2, 2. I'm allowed to equal this one because of the or equal to, so I take the extra ink, fill it in. This one I'm not allowed to equal. Make sure when you draw this line that it's obvious it's not just the number line, that there's more ink there, okay? Next, or walk like an Egyptian. Here we go.
I still don't know that song.
All right, well, go look it up on iTunes.
What would you look up?
Walk like an Egyptian. All right, there we go. Okay, any questions on those two? Just as a little bit of a side note here, we could also express these things with interval notation. -2, 2. And the next one we can't do with interval notation because it's not a bounded interval. All right? Next up. Simplify each expression, an opportunity to work with our laws of exponents and make sure that we're on top of these and we're very good with them. The big thing about A that students constantly forget is they constantly, I hope you're looking here, they constantly forget to cube the coefficient. What is 3 cubed? 27. Occasionally, they write 9. But usually, if you remember it, I think we might have had a 9 there.
No.
No? Okay. Occasionally, most often, if kids get it wrong, they forget to do it. Occasionally, if they do it, they get 9. And then when I raise a power to a power, I multiply, so I get 27n to the 12th. That should be very routine. It should be very comfortable. You should look at a question like that and say that that's a piece of cake. Now, the next one gets a little more challenging because you have to apply several different exponent and mathematical concepts to this. The first one is the order of operations, namely that I'm going to do the exponent before I do the multiplication between the two terms on the top or on the numerator. So, similar to problem A, I'm going to square this. I get 4x to the 6th. Then I have to multiply that by 6x, and 6x times 4x to the 6th would be 24x to the 7th over 8x to the 5th. So far, we've employed the order of operations. We've used the laws of exponents for exponentiation, raising a power to a power, multiplication, multiply coefficients, add exponents, and now we're going to do the last case, which is to divide, and that gives me 3x to the 2nd. If you're able to get that right, the only way to do that is if you know all the exponent laws. Okay, so that's nicely done if you got that right. Negative exponent. Reciprocal. You guys are lame today. That makes it 5/2 to the positive 3, which is 125 over 8.
That was right.
Okay? last but not least, write an algebraic expression for 7 less than twice a number. What is an algebraic expression for 7 less than twice a number? 2n minus 7. Good. Now remember that this phrase less than, you have to switch order. The last shall be first and the first shall be last. Very good. 2n minus 7. Any question on the do-its? Yes?
You have to do 2n minus 7 because I just did n times 2 minus 7.
You know, it goes back again. Listen, there are certain conventions in algebra which are what they are to make your life easier. Could you write 2n or n2 minus 7? Yes, and I would give you credit for it. The problem is, eventually, all of this stuff gets involved in problems where you have to constantly simplify and break down. And if you're used to seeing 2n and you see n2, then that's not a good thing. Oh boy. Is it 3-7 or 9-7? 5-7? Oh, time to make an appointment for Ziva to go to Ohio. Yeah, that means she hit the magic number of 5, so we get to send her to Ohio to become pregnant to have puppies. Oh, what day number was it? Everybody's getting it out. The magic day. Ready? Day
You can't be wrong.
12. Day 12 it is. Okay, so keep that in mind. Day 12 it is. You wait a minute. You think you're happy. It was $172 a test. I don't have to pay $172 every time I bring her to the vet now. So you're kind of happy. I'm really happy. All right. So, okay. Time out. I have an observation here. Hold it. Time out. My observation is this. We're talking about your education here. Excuse me, your mathematical career. And I say, everybody say, from is first. And I get, from is first. And then I turn around and I say, last shall be first and the? First shall be last. Day 12. Yeah! Woo! I mean, what is up with that?
I just didn't think I was going to win.
All right. So in this class we have 2 winners. Is that what it is?
Gail won 2.
Well, who?
Gail. She said 12 down 2. Said like mathletes.
Oh, well, I'm going to get to everybody. We have mathletes later today. So I'm going to add up the total number of 12s in all of the classes. And if it's like doable with pizza, I will have pizza brought to lunch.
If nobody else gets it, then me and Kirsten can have pizza.
The whole pie.
They would.
I'm getting a slice too. All right. So listen, I am so glad you are excited about Ziva's levels. And I am so glad that all of these things are going on. But, and this is an extremely important but, we're about to start doing word problems. And word problems are something that tends to drive students crazy.
I don't like
Okay.
them.
Yeah, I can remember being in college, even then, let alone high school, and getting certain word problems. And there's a reason why I have as much hair as I have, all right? Now, in addition to paying rent and all that other stuff I did when I was 18 years old, I did so many word problems that I literally pulled my hair out. So I don't want you to pull your hair out. I want you to keep your lovely, awesome hair. So with that in mind, I am going to show you a foolproof technique for, guys, this is really, really, really important. I'm going to show you a foolproof technique for kicking butt on a word problem. And I'm not saying that you're going to get every problem completely right. But I am saying that I can't foresee a way where you get less than half credit. And a lot of times, by doing this, you actually end up getting full credit. I want to tell you about Captain Crunch. Remind me, I'll tell you about Captain Crunch tomorrow. But for now, let me get started. First rule of a word problem. As you read the word problem, if it talks about a shape, always draw the shape. That should be common sense. Now, the next thing it says in the word problem is this. This is what I want you to do. This is the new strategy. as you go through the word problem, and I assume everybody's read this once, I want you to find a piece of information, use it, and cross it out. That's the key thing here. I want you to cross it out in the word problem. Students get word block in math the way in English you get writer's block, and you just don't know where to start. And students will look at word problems and say, oh, I don't know where to start. I don't know where to begin. Well, I'm telling you now where to start and where to begin. Okay? It says the length of a rectangle is 5 less than twice the width of the rectangle. If the perimeter is 44, find the dimensions in the area. Okay, so tell me something about this where it says the length is 5 less than twice the width. What does that mean? Something you can conclude from that. What do we want to call the width? W. You don't know what it is, so we'll call it W. Excellent. Now it says here the length is, this is like the last do-it question, 5 less than twice the width. The do-it question was 7 less than twice the width. What's 5 less than twice the width? Everybody? 2W minus 5. Now, I want you to cross that out from your problem. Literally cross it right out of the line, because that means you've used it. They wrote it there for you to use. Once you have used it, you do not need to go back and use it again. The next question says if the perimeter of the rectangle is 44. Now, what does perimeter mean? Everybody? Add up all the sides. So let's do that. Here's my first side, 2W minus 5. Here's my next side, W. Is that all my sides? No. I also have the one over here, which is another W. And then I have the one over here, which is a 2W minus 5. As a quick aside, someone said, can I write W2? You can, but then you expect to see 2W. It kind of goes more naturally. And then it says, well, let me write if the perimeter. And then what's the next thing left? What does it say there? Is 44. So what does that mean? Equals 44. And now all you have to do is solve the problem, because you've used up all the information and the only thing left are the directions. Now, very quickly, I'm going to do this in my head. That's 3W, 6W minus 10 is 44. Hold it. W is 9, so this is 9, and this is 13. Multiply them, and you have your area. Dimensions are 9 and 13. Hasta la vista. Vaya con Dios. Salud. Kata. Smile a lot. Ciao. Adios, Zane. Adios, amigos y amigas. Cheerio. Kurusharus. Gadafis.